defensive side of the ball and Will Howard over the last 2 weeks that enabled him to emerge as a starting quarterback?
Well, he's making all the throws. I mean, he's stands in the pocket. He got great vision, arm strength. We got great receivers. He's putting the ball in places where only the receiver can catch it. So, to me, it's not just the arm strength, but he's making the pinpoint passes too.
Tim May, the Tim May podcast.
Yeah, going into Saturday, what's your biggest question going into Saturday scrimmage that you'd like to see maybe answered about your defense? If you follow what I'm saying there, is there still something glaring out there in your mind?
Sure. It goes back to safety depth. Safety depth, I think I've mentioned it before, but we feel good about our starters, but they're the guys behind there with Malik and really McLean has really emerged, as a guy who's going to have to be ready to play. But you got kind of two guys that are unproven and still learning, and like every day in practice is a learning experience for them and a challenge, particularly if they get to go against our best receivers. So that's our safety depth needs to come along.
Austin Ward, podcast.
Jim, 2 weeks ago you said something similar about the nickel spot. Do you feel better with Lorenzo being back out there, or do you still feel that's a work in progress to find somebody behind Jordan? Have your thoughts changed since 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, having Lorenzo back has really, to me, upped the level of that second defense. I think he's talented, so I think he's emerging as a guy we can count on.
Fourth row right, welcome to the beat, Stefan Kroshnik from Cleveland.com.
Whether it be in the practices or the scrimmage you guys just had, what kind of stands out to you about Chip's offense and what makes it difficult to defend?
Well, he's, all kinds of things. I think very talented in the run game and the calls and keeping you off balance. And, the more our quarterbacks are learning what he does, you can see how they make adjustments. Because every defense has holes, and he's really good at finding it and challenging you to try to cover everything when we all know that's not possible. So, it's just him kind of being able to find where your weaknesses are, and as the quarterbacks learn things, it's showing up in practice.
Third row left, Andy Andrews, 11 Warriors.
From that second wave of defensive linemen, who's been making the most noise and catching your eye the most in these practices here?
I'll tell you what, I think they've all been doing well. Caden McDonald, he shows up all the time. Curry and KJ and Mitch Melton, I think, are all extremely capable. All those guys can play. No problem with any of them in there. Hero Canoe, Hero flashes. He does flash. He does flash, looking for some consistency out of him, but he's flashing. So I think we really have a strong second unit there. As you know, we play a lot of guys, so they're all going to play.
Bill Rabinowitz, Columbus Dispatch.
I know coaches worry all the time about everything, but for you to have the biggest concern be backup safety, you got to feel pretty good. I mean, just how good do you feel about this defense right now?
Yeah, you're right. And I never feel good, right? There's constant, it's just constant adjustments and to formations and learning and getting the checks right. We're putting more stress on them, to be able to have some different calls that we can make versus a variety of formations. So, I feel good about our players now in just terms of, we're trying to create more pressure and create some different scheme-wise coverage adjustments. And I think that's just a constant learning experience.
How's Edric Houston played?
I don't know, for a young guy, Edric, he flashes. He's strong at the point of attack. He's got a great personality, and he'll always go hard. He's flashing. I could definitely see him in there this year.
Second row right, Doug Lamreese, Kings of the North.
Jim, you've been coaching for a while. I'm not asking you to get out over your skis, but just when you're watching that scrimmage on Saturday, coaching that scrimmage, just both sides of the ball, the talent, the players, the opportunity, the potential, to just get a vibe of like what this team has a chance to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's, I don't know, I'm probably not the best guy to comment on that because I'm so hyper focused on the details of the defense that, you know, if the offense makes a good play, then, you know, I'm blaming myself and trying to, you know, figure out what happened and fix it. So, but I know that we have a lot of talent. We have a lot of great guys. We got a great attitude. Guys are coachable. So, you know, when you're in the middle of it, you don't ever really step back and take a look at it. You just keep trying to push and push.
Got time for one or two more. If I missed someone, Stephen Means, Cleveland.com.
I don't know if we've ever asked you, but you're not in a room anymore. You don't have a designated position anymore. I think when you were brought in here, it was kind of a thing of like you're kind of this mad scientist kind of guy. How much has that freed you up to maybe be more creative and come up with some of the looks that you've kind of been hinting at really since back in the spring? How much more creative have you been able to be in coming up with stuff since you're not necessarily in charge of it?
Right. Yeah, I think it gives me, I get to kind of move around the rooms, so I get to see how those things are being implemented. You know, a lot of the creativity happened during the summer and the off season. You're able to hire James, and he can take that over, and that really freed me up. You know, back in that all off season to kind of look at everything and come up with some new ideas. You know, really don't want to be creative week to week. You want to have all of that in camp and just kind of be able to pull from it. So a lot of that stuff came in the off season, but having James really freed me up.
Joey Kaufman, Columbus Dispatch.
Jim, to follow up on the helmet comms, would Cody be the guy to wear that?
Yes. Yes.
Is it, now that you've had more time with it, does it give you any advantage from?
Yeah, I don't know yet. I mean, that'll have to be seen. It really depends how the offense plays it. You know, if you know, I have more time to talk, but right now I haven't been doing that because, you know, I want to see what they can do and how they can adjust, and, you know, he needs to handle everything on the field, but there may be that possibility based on the game clock and what I can see in the offense, you know, as long as before you get to 15 seconds. There may be that opportunity, but I haven't been using it right now. I'm letting him see what they do.
Will there be a point in the preseason where you will use it?
Probably not. You know, probably not, because, you know, I want to see what they know. It's more important what they know than what I know. You know, I think as you get into a flow of a game, depending on what the offense does, then you know, I'll be able to interject.
Bill Landis, the podcast, Kings of the North.
Jim, last time we talked to you, you were talking about wanting to be more intentional about the skies and finding some new ways to, I guess, generate some pressures, but while maintaining that kind of four down front. Is trying to check those boxes while staying in a four down front in any way restrictive? Does that make it more challenging when you're trying to do it while remaining a little rigid up front?
No, I think you take what you're doing, and, you know, that's my job, to find the different ways to do it. If you're in a different package, you go from there, but I don't think it's restrictive at all. It just is who we are.
And final question, Andy Baxter from Letterman Row.
Jim, you touched on Malik and needing him to step up at safety. What have you seen from him this summer? I know he missed a lot of spring. Where has he kind of grown in year two so far?
You know, he's growing in confidence. He's growing in confidence, and that's a huge thing for a safety, because you got to, you know, manage the back end, and you got to be able to play the run and pass and decipher between the two. So for him, it's just all about confidence. He's got the talent, so it's just a matter of reps and confidence.
Great, Coach. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks, Jim. All right, folks, we need to clear out of this room so they can use it for meetings, podcasts on the indoor, otherwise additional writing.